For nearly 2 decades, Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban were seen as Hollywood's golden couple, with her elegance and Oscar-winning grace, and him the charismatic country star. They embodied an enduring love story in a world where fame often burns out relationships.
I'd done really nothing about, blew our marriage to smithereens.
But in 2025, that perfect illusion unraveled. Within days of Keith Urban quietly moving out of their Nashville home, Nicole filed for divorce, and the truth that had been hidden for years began to surface. Beneath their red carpet smiles and public devotion lay a very different reality. People had long admired them as proof that fame couldn't destroy a marriage. They balanced glamour with humility, artistry with devotion, and seemed destined for a fairy tale ending. To the world, they were the golden couple, an Australian princess of Hollywood and an American country prince. Yet behind those polished poses and matching love stories, cracks were forming that few outside could see. They first met in 2005 at an Australian charity gala in Los Angeles. Nicole was 38, still glowing from her Best Actress Oscar, but carrying old scars from her painful divorce from Tom Cruise. Keith was 37, a rising country music star whose songs hinted at the demons he'd battled. To outsiders, they seemed like opposites, but to each other, they were mirror images of two wounded souls desperate for stability. Their connection wasn't instant tabloid fireworks, it was quiet and electric. By June 2006, they were married in Sydney in a candlelit ceremony that everyone described as pure magic. That night, Nicole dazzled in a Balenciaga gown, and Keith even serenaded her at the reception. It felt like a love story written in gold. But as any Hollywood veteran knows, fairy tales rarely survive reality. Just 4 months after their wedding, Keith entered rehab for alcohol addiction. Nicole was blindsided by the announcement. Instead of walking away, she did what she always did. She stayed. She visited him in treatment, protected him from harsh headlines, and told everyone that forgiveness was an act of love. In truth, she was fighting not just for Keith, but for the family she had dreamed of building. In the years that followed, they tried everything to keep the dream alive. On stage, Keith dedicated awards to Nicole, calling her his saving grace. Nicole returned the compliment at every turn, calling him the man who brought me back to life. They welcomed 2 daughters, Sunday Rose in 2008 and Faith Margaret in 2010. To the public, it looked like they had tamed the chaos with family bliss. But behind closed doors, the pressures were growing unbearable. Keith's long tours and the shadows of his past struggles began to corrode the bond between them. Nicole waited up for phone calls that never came. She remained endlessly graceful and forgiving, but even grace has limits. And by the time people began to see the cracks, the fairy tale everyone envied was already fading. The marriage had become a careful performance. By their 10th anniversary, they had weathered what most couples could not: rehab, distance, and the relentless glare of fame. To the cameras, they held hands on red carpets and repeated the same rehearsed lines in interviews: "We've never been stronger," and "We're each other's rock." But friends and insiders could see the exhaustion behind those words. They even set rules, never more than a few weeks apart, always talking before bed. But real life doesn't follow rules. Their schedules clashed, promises were missed, and quiet resentment replaced passion. For the public, magazines still hailed them as Hollywood's last real marriage, but whispers behind the scenes told a different story. By 2023, observers noticed they were living separate lives, Keith on tour more often, Nicole working on her own projects, and many suspected the end was coming. Even so, Nicole fought to keep the family together for as long as she could. She had already lost a family once. She wasn't going to lose this one without a fight. Yet by early 2024, the distance between them had become impossible to ignore. While Nicole was filming Practical Magic 2 in London with Sandra Bullock, friends noticed a change in her voice. It was soft, uncertain, almost distracted. She stopped talking about Keith as if he were right there beside her. Back in Nashville, Keith had quietly set up his own place, telling friends he needed space to think. By June of 2024, their lives were nearly separate. Nicole was working long hours in London. Keith was on the road, surrounded by noise that drowned out everything else. Their final public appearance together was at a soccer match in Nashville on June 20th, 2024. And even there, they looked distant and awkward, like actors who had run out of lines.
It was supposed to be the fairy tale of their generation. Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban, two stars, two souls entwined. We often saw them on red carpets, hand in hand, wearing perfect smiles under the spotlight. But behind those smiles, a quiet storm was brewing. Behind closed doors, Nicole bore a secret loneliness nobody could see. She had once been the daring Hollywood star, but she swapped studios for stadiums, giving up her own dreams and time to keep their family whole. Late nights on tour and lonely mornings on movie sets, the sacrifices built walls between them. Still, she protected Keith at all costs. She stood by his side through struggles he never shared with the world, always shielding him from rumors and whispers. Nicole fought for this marriage with everything she had. Friends and family who saw her pain later revealed the truth. Nicole didn't want it to end. She had been pouring her heart into keeping them together, even as her own needs were left aside. Every glowing outfit she wore, every graceful pose for photographers, masked the deep, aching loneliness inside. She was living a double life, glamorous and happy on stage, yet crying herself to sleep at night. Then came the whispers of relapse. The world remembered how Keith once battled his demons early in their marriage. Behind the scenes, those old shadows had started to creep quietly back in. Secret relapses, old addictions creeping back like ghosts, sneaking through cracks in their lives. Every tear Nicole wiped, every silent vigil she held beside him, she knew his inner demons had begun to haunt them again. Yet she still stood as his shield, refusing to let anyone see the pain he tried to hide. All the while, they kept up appearances. Together they attended premieres, charity galas, and family dinners, smiling at the cameras. But something had changed deep in their eyes. Nicole's eyes held a sadness no one remarked on. Keith's laughter had a hollow ring. Millions saw the happy couple, but no one saw the late-night phone calls, no one heard the whispered apologies in dark hotel rooms. Now, after the divorce, Nicole finally feels free to speak. The woman who once said they would never have secrets has begun to reveal painful truths. She's sharing the hidden stories of nights spent worrying over Keith and days of aching solitude when he was far away. What she exposes will shock the world and change everything. In the next chapter of this saga, we'll uncover what finally pushed Nicole to reveal it all and how Keith will respond to the secrets she's about to tell. It's a story far from finished, and the next chapter promises to be even more revealing. Far from the smiling facade of red carpet appearances, Nicole's world was quietly shifting. While filming in London on a sequel to her beloved film Practical Magic, her friends noticed that something was wrong. Her voice on the phone was softer, tinged with uncertainty, and the sparkle in her eyes had dimmed. She no longer spoke of Keith as if he were by her side. Meanwhile, back in Nashville, Keith Urban was carving out his own space, quietly renting a separate home, telling friends he needed distance to think. The distance between them was growing. To Nicole, they were still partners in a love story that could weather any storm. Despite her unease, Nicole tried to keep hope alive. On camera and in interviews, she remained composed and optimistic. When asked about the marriage, Nicole would smile and remind everyone, marriage takes work, insisting both she and Keith remained committed to each other. She spoke of working through tough times together, even as inside she felt more and more alone. Each word was a quiet effort to hold on, maintaining the golden image of their marriage and protecting the family she had rebuilt. Behind the scenes, however, something was shifting, as Keith slowly stopped answering Nicole's calls and even began missing family dinners. His long tours and life on the road pulled him even further away, while Nicole kept her grueling filming schedule in London. Weeks slipped by with no contact,
painfully proving they were no longer sharing the same life. By mid-2024, the couple was living entirely separate lives. Nicole on movie sets across the world, Keith caught up in the chaos of touring. The love that once bound them felt adrift, leaving Nicole with a lonely ache in her heart. Their last public moment together came in June 2024 at a Nashville soccer match, an event that should have been joyous. Instead, Nicole and Keith appeared unsettled and distant, like actors reluctantly sharing a stage after the final act. That night, friends say, Keith quietly moved out of their family home without a word. Nicole returned from filming to an empty house and an unbearable silence. For the woman who had believed so long that love could conquer all, this quiet abandonment was devastating. Even as shock and heartache set in, Nicole refused to give up and instead focused on her daughters, putting on a brave face for them. Deep down, however, she knew this was more than a rough patch. It was the beginning of the end. The marriage she had fought so hard for was on the brink of collapse. In the hush of that summer night, the fragile illusion finally began to crack, setting the stage for the painful revelations to come.
By the fading light of day, the house that had once been a sanctuary now felt like a stage set for heartbreak. Nicole sat alone in the kitchen, the evening quiet broken only by the hum of a refrigerator. She held a cell phone in her hand, traces of a heated text message conversation still glowing on the screen. In that moment, a realization settled in her bones. The love she had given for nearly 2 decades no longer returned to her. It had come to her slowly at first, a creeping certainty during endless nights of unanswered calls and dismissive replies. Then, tonight, the subtle crack widened into a crevasse she could no longer ignore. She saw it clearly now. He was looking past her, not at her. Every excuse, every avoided question spoke volumes she could not unhear. His eyes, once warm, were distant, a final, silent admission of the gap between them. Nicole's heart tightened. This was the moment she knew the marriage was over. They confronted each other later that night, under the glow of a single lamp in the living room. Nicole's voice was steady, and every question held the weight of truth. Keith listened, shadows crossing his face. He tried to argue at first, voice trembling, but found no solace in words. In the long silence that followed, neither of them needed to speak. She felt the truth, painful and undeniable, hanging in the air between them. When tears finally came, they were tears of release. The years of uncertainty, of holding her breath, seemed to flow out with that cry. This was her final realization. She was more than the life they had built together. She was a woman reclaiming her own story. Slowly, Nicole rose from the couch. With calm hands, she gathered a few personal items into an overnight bag, a change of clothes, a photograph of a happier memory, a small vial of perfume that smelled like hope. She paused at the doorway, feeling the weight of what she was about to do. Then she walked out into the night. Under the cool night sky, Nicole stepped away from the house that had held both her dreams and her doubts. The quiet street was empty, but inside her, a storm of emotions brewed. Grief, relief, and an unexpected spark of freedom. She took a deep breath. The world felt impossibly large, and suddenly, for the first time in years, it felt like hers. Little did she know, beyond the silence of this street, whispers were already gathering, and the world would soon demand its version of what came next. The flash bulbs hit her like summer lightning. Nicole Kidman stepped onto the red carpet, serene and radiant. But if you looked closely, just closely enough, you could see it, that quiet steel beneath the silk, that kind of stillness a woman carries only after surviving a storm she never asked for. It had only been days since the world found out. Headlines had screamed the news, whispers had grown into roars, and yet there she was, her Her first public appearance since the divorce filing, walking with grace through a ballroom of flashing cameras and loaded questions. She didn't flinch. She didn't explain. She didn't need to. The world had questions. She chose silence. But her silence wasn't weakness. It was orchestration. Nicole didn't come to speak. She came to say something without uttering a single word. Her dress? Flawless. Her smile? Measured. Her posture? Unshakable. It was the posture of someone who'd cried all she could, healed all she would, and was now ready to stand. Behind her, a storm raged. The tabloids had turned ravenous. Social media boiled with rumors. Was there someone else? Had it been going on for years? Fans dissected every red carpet photo, every look exchanged, every word unsaid. Keith Urban, caught in the center of it all, fumbled. A lyric change on stage sparked chaos online. A smirk during a love song became headline fodder. Eventually, he looked into the crowd during a performance and pleaded, "Stop reading stuff into it." But it was too late. The narrative had taken flight, and it wasn't his to control anymore. Nicole, on the other hand, said nothing. She flew to Paris for Fashion Week. She sat front row with her daughters, hand in hand, like a queen surrounded by her legacy. Cameras captured not just a mother, not just an actress, but a woman rising. Her new hairstyle, subtle and sharp, became a statement in itself. Reinvention had arrived, and it was wearing Chanel. And as the world kept guessing, Nicole kept moving. Those closest to her knew she had tried. She had stayed longer than most would have. She had believed even when belief became bitter. But now she had decided to close the door with dignity, not with revenge, not with interviews, not with scandal, just with presence. In every flash of the camera, in every unanswered question, in every quiet smile, Nicole Kidman was rewriting her story, not as a woman broken by love, but as a woman made whole by letting go of what no longer held her. And yet, through it all, one question still lingered. Not about him, about her. What does healing look like when the whole world is watching? In the weeks that followed, Nicole stopped speaking of the past, not out of bitterness, but because she had finally made peace with it. She gave one final interview, measured, gentle, and devastating in its simplicity. "You can give someone everything," she said softly, "and sometimes it's still not enough." She didn't name him. She didn't have to. The world already knew, and more importantly, so did she. She talked instead about the lessons, about growth, and about grace. "I'm not angry," she said. "I'm just awake now." And in those words, you could hear it. Not just the end of something, but the beginning of someone else. Nicole turned her focus inward and then outward. On her daughters, on her films, on her causes. She spent more time in nature, walked barefoot in gardens, laughed in the kitchen with her children late at night. No paparazzi, no filters, just the gentle return of peace. The world, ever hungry for drama, slowly quieted. Even Keith stopped fighting the narrative. He disappeared from the tabloids. His concerts grew quieter. In time, even he seemed to accept what she had already understood, that this story was never going to be about blame, because Nicole had chosen something else entirely. She had chosen to live, not in the shadow of a man, not in the memory of a marriage, but in the full light of her own becoming. She had learned to sit with her loneliness, to hold her heartbreak like a stone worn smooth by time, and then to place it down and keep walking. And if you ask her now, years later, what she regrets, She'll smile. That smile the world once mistook for perfection, but which was always something deeper. And she'll say, "Nothing. It brought me here." And here, this quiet, blooming life of hers is more than enough. Help keep the legends alive. Like, comment, and subscribe to Silver Legends. We honor the stars of yesterday with stories that still shine today.